going to the Giants. That's a move. That's a big loss for New England. There's nobody on the market. I mean, unless Joe Thomas decided, I'm not going to retire. I'm going to go to New England for a year. By the way, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Did Joe Thomas announce his retirement today from Cleveland? It would not shock me if Belichick didn't get on the phone and call Joe Thomas a very smart player and say, you want to run at a Super Bowl. That's going to be my breaking news of the day. Can I do breaking news?
Breaking news.
This is total, utter speculation, but I'm breaking it. Joe Thomas will get a call from the New England Patriots. Belichick hates Cleveland. They fired him. Joe Thomas can still play. Joe Thomas just doesn't want to play for Cleveland. I'm going to make a prediction. If I'm right, that $100 I owe you, Goulet, I get back. That New England will call Joe Thomas. This story will surface within the next 48 hours.
Wait, you get $100 back if they just call him? Or does he have to sign with the Patriots?
There has to be a dinner. There has to be food consumed. If they meet for a dinner, a little vino, a little cattle, a potato.
Full on.
Okay. So I believe this is a real thing. Belichick would love to stick it to Cleveland. Remember, he wouldn't trade Garoppolo to Cleveland, and Cleveland wanted him. He's like, I'm not giving it to Cleveland. He holds grudges. That's okay. Some people do. And so they're going to call Joe Thomas and say, dude, come in 1 year. 1 year, you can play for a Super Bowl.
And you have zero sources on this?
No sourcing whatsoever. Do the breaking news again. By the way, you can break...
Breaking news.
You can break more than news. Look at this. I could literally drop this. I could break a cup.
That. Oh, yeah, I can break the fan.
Could break a phone.
Yeah.
I am breaking a rumor. I am breaking speculation.
Breaking a rumor that you started.
Yeah, I am. This is breaking speculation. Joe Thomas, you. By the way, if this happens tomorrow, I am going to be carried onto this set by you. I will demand that you carry me on the set. That will be the greatest.
So $100 and a piggyback ride.
I will literally be the most obnoxious person in the world if I'm right on this.
Feed him grapes.
Oh,
as
my
you do,
God.
Yeah.
So Nate Solder is a big loss for New England, and there's nobody on the market that's available. And it's a great upgrade for Eli Manning, who's about as mobile as a batting cage. So it's a win for the Giants. It's a loss for the Patriots. So now some of these guys matter and some don't. Some of these free agent moves, there's a real impact. The Rams are a great roster with weak corners. They got Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib. That is a great offseason. The Eagles have a really good defensive line. They added another disruptive pass rusher. That is a really good get. They got him for nothing. Tennessee has a new offensive coordinator. They are a run-first football team. They've already got a good running back. They add Dion Lewis, who I think is an undervalued NFL player. When he can stay healthy, he's a really, really quick, elusive player who rarely fumbles. The stuff that sounds amazing, Muhammad Wilkerson and Jimmy Graham. Jimmy Graham's going to make 55, 60 catches. Muhammad Wilkerson peaked years ago, and I don't think he loves football. That's the rumor in the NFL. Sammy Watkins to the Chiefs. He was about the 8th most valuable offensive piece for the Rams last year. He's not icing on a cake. He's the candle. He just doesn't get open that much. Richard Sherman, I don't think he's going to be ready to play when the season starts for the Niners. And Cleveland's making all sorts of moves with their new GM, John Dorsey. But it doesn't matter because if you don't have the quarterback right in this league, it doesn't matter. And Tyrod Taylor's a C-plus guy. I like Jarvis Landry as a wide receiver. But again, Moss to Brady, T.O. to McNabb, that's a real upgrade. You got to see quarterback. Remember the guy a couple of years ago that went to Cleveland? Dwayne Bowe was from Kansas City, went to Cleveland. And he went into the witness protection program. I don't think he had 8 catches. If you don't have the quarterback right, I don't care about what wide receiver you acquire. It doesn't mean anything. It's like if you have no pass rush, good luck getting a corner. He's going to get completely exposed when he's on an island for 4.5 seconds. You're going to have good corners become great with Philadelphia's defensive line. That's what happened at the end of last year. They had a great pass rush, and Philly's good corners looked really good in big games. The second thing is Jake Glazer came on earlier. And I was saying, free agency has always been kind of one of these trepidation things where the really smart people in the NFL kind of roll their eyes at the Miami Dolphins or the Lions or the Browns overpaying for players. But now you're getting some of the best GMs are all in the last year. This has been an incredibly active free agent period. And Jay Glazer has a theory on why that is.
Last couple of years, free agency's been a bad game of fantasy football. Guys whose names are big, who are getting overpaid, and you just don't win that way. You don't build. And a lot of teams realize that. They're like, we're not doing this. We're not going and throwing a boatload of money at Dominican Sues and all those guys. It's not a huge type of market because it just doesn't work that way. It's you got to build through the draft, and you got to smartly go get an Andrew Whitworth that you know is going to help the quarterback and the off. Right, great one, right? That's the type of guys you need. But then all of a sudden, the Philadelphia Eagles happened last year. And the Eagles went out, and they got guys like Alshon Jeffrey and the Chris Longs, and they traded for J.J. They almost played this game that has become taboo in free agency over the last couple of years, except for a few teams, the Washington Redskins of the world. Right? That's all that really did it. And all of a sudden, Philly had success with it. And that's why I think you see all these teams this year, they have changed their ways. They're like, oh, because it's a whatever you've done for me lately league.
And it's also a copycat league. Television in the NFL. I always go back to the Wildcat. There was a year where people in this league were like, yeah, hike the ball to a running back. Like, really? You don't want to hike it to, like, Aaron Rodgers or Brady or Big Ben or Breeze or Peyton Manning. No. Hike it to a guy that can't throw. That became an offense for a year. I mean, for years and years, we've gone through so many changes in this league. And now some stick, the no huddle, elevated pace of play. It keeps defenses guessing. They can't substitute regularly. It wears down defenses. I mean, that's how New England won the Super Bowl, to keep that Atlanta defense on the field. And after their offense has 3 or 4 3-and-outs, Atlanta's defense just was gassed for the last 8 minutes of the game. The Patriots won a Super Bowl against Seattle. Seattle's defense in the fourth quarter was great. But Brady kept doing 4 yards, first down. All of a sudden, you get 3.5 hours into that game, 4 hours. Seattle's great defense was gassed. So the no huddle sticks. Some of these analytics stick. Some of these changes are goofy. But the Philadelphia Eagles, to Jay Glazer's point, they come out and they're like, listen, we're going to do some free agent stuff. And if you hit a couple home runs and you win, people in this league, they copy it. This league the NFL has always been really simple. Every league has a different culture. Okay, it's just the reality of it. The NBA has always been a players' league since the 60s and 70s. I mean, everybody's like, politics work in sports. Look at the Warriors. Everybody in the NBA is anti-Trump. Politics are easy in a room where everybody agrees. So the NBA is a players' league. Okay, you came out and supported Trump. You'd go to your exit interview 5 minutes later. The NFL is a coach and a GM league. And occasionally you'll get a great quarterback and they have some leverage. I mean, that's the reality of this league. The NFL, very few players have leverage. And teams move off players very quickly. I mean, look at Seattle. I mean, in the last couple of days, they've moved off Richard Sherman, Jimmy Graham, Michael Bennett, Paul Richardson. These guys can all play. I mean, these guys, I mean, if you look at the cap hits, you're looking at $35 million just walked out the door. And I think for Seattle, these were popular players. I mean, Bennett can still play. Richardson's a deep threat. Jimmy can play. He'll have 60 catches for Green Bay and 6-7 touchdowns. Richard Sherman, I'm not sure about, but it wouldn't shock me if he came back midseason last year and elevated San Francisco's defense. So Seattle's a very interesting team. It's a cautionary tale how quickly the window closes. Seattle was 4-4 at home. They were only like 12th in points allowed. They have to rebuild their secondary and their offensive line. And if you put just in their division, forget the NFC as a whole, forget football as a whole, just in their division, if you put the Rams and the Seahawks units up against each other, outside of linebacker, I'd say running back, receiver, O-line, D-line, secondary, and clear advantages in special teams. Kicker, punter, return, all edge Rams. Linebackers, significant advantage Seattle. So Seattle's making some big moves. They've lost now 5-6 starters in the last week. They're moving. They're clearing space. They're getting younger. They're getting less expensive. They're moving off their best deep threat, their best corner, their best edge rusher, their real seam bursting tight end. They're starting over. They're basically now down to Russell Wilson, Doug Baldwin on offense, and Bobby Wagner on defense. I'm not sure how into Earl Thomas long-term they are. He's not as good as he was a couple years ago. So The windows, they close very, very quickly in this league. Very, very quickly. NBA, it is a players' league. You have to align with the players politically. You have to understand. I mean, Steve Kerr's going to birthday parties, giving them days off. Steve Kerr is acquiescing. Steve Kerr it's a players' league. I side with the players. I want to help my players. I want to rest my players. It's not the NFL. Outside of a handful of quarterbacks, because there's such a scarcity, there is no loyalty in this league, and you just have to know it. All leagues are different. NFL is a copycat league. It's a GM league. It's a coaches league. NBA is not. It is all about the players. And I've always said as a fan, I don't care if guys get rich. I want my team to have flexibility. One of the reasons I love the NFL is because if a guy doesn't deliver, he's gone. If a guy gets hurt, he's gone. If my team is flexible, you get trapped in baseball. You get trapped in the NBA. You can get trapped in those sports. As an NFL fan, Seattle's like Bennett gone, Sherman gone, Richardson gone, Graham gone. Seattle's going to have new stars this year. So I love that about the NFL. Guys, the madness is about to begin in college hoops, spring training, opening day, NBA playoffs, draft around the corner in April. Got some big golf tournaments, Masters coming up. It's a great time of the year for the herd. Also means warmer weather. Also means people shed clothes. You want to be in shape, look as good as you possibly can. You got to work out, got to eat right. Also add in M-Drive. M-Drive is built on science and nutrition. 5 clinically tested ingredients, safe and effective, that boost your natural testosterone levels. You can get it at retailers like Walgreens, Duane Reade, Vitamin Shop, Sprouts GNC. Get it online at buymdrive.com, code HERD. Buymdrive.com, code HERD. Refine your prime, nutrition science, backed, eat right, little working out, and buymdrive.com. I want to thank Nick Wright, Jay Glazer, Joel Klatt, Robert Klemko. Good stuff. See you tomorrow.
You wait for champions.